Hello, welcome to what I think could be the last song recommending video. I do have a couple of ideas because as one of my public playlists, other ones alongside the themes and topics we've covered, I could cover favourite scores or underrated score pieces or underrated instrumentals in general. Yeah, I'd have to have a good think about that one, but as you know, some people tend to like to put rock in its own category. Yeah, there you go. You have a mixture of rock songs that are both old and modern, um, which which I think are worth sharing. If you wondering more about rock being its own thing, is that rock does have its own charts nowadays. I think it's always been its own thing, especially like back in the 80s. You have the fans of metal, and then you have the fans of pop music, and that can also be further explained by something which is at the end of this presentation, where the pop side of music made their own, Band-Aid song, and then uh, me and how do I start the next sentence? Basically, those from the metal rock genre also made their own Band-Aid song back in 1985, which we'll go into much later. I know, quite exciting, and and even at the moment, it's still kind of separate, except that pop music has overtaken rock music by quite a mile, which I think is a bit of a shame because what's good about the rock genre is that outside of possibly using dubstep elements in that, there's still the effort on writing the music for keyboards, pianos, drums, and most of all guitars and the bass guitars. There's still that kind of effort. Yeah, and because I think a lot of people, have like this cynical viewpoint of heavy metal with screeching and that, which is a real shame because if there's a lot of the modern generation that like everyday pop music, and they also like rap, which some people sometimes separate as their own genre. But if you like both of those different kind of music, despite their slim similarities, then I think any other person should have a go with the rock genre, regardless of how heavy it is, because not every rock song is extremely heavy, especially nowadays. There's still some artists like All Time Low that has just a nice amount of rock, which would appeal more to a bigger audience. Because I like Arch Enemy, for example, that's death metal, and yeah, definitely has its fan base. But yeah, I think it's a genre that should gain more of a bigger audience because yeah, Arch Enemy especially, which I think we'll mention later on today. Yeah, there's definitely more to screeching and heavy guitar work. Yeah, there's far more to it. But this is not just heavy metal; it's a wide range of rock songs, which I thought would be too rocky for the previous list, but ones that are definitely, they have their own spotlight and their own special little video here. So yeah, without further ado, let's go. So before creating their song 7475 in the early 90s, back in 1985, they've written a song simply called Seven, which I know it's sounds has a couple of syllables, the same as the most famous hit, but they created this one first, a song which, as some people have said, sounds like a song that the Smiths would do, which I do agree, where it has twiddly guitars and big emphasis on bass and deeper vocals to go along with it. And yeah, this Connells song definitely captures that side of rock quite well. It could be argued to be more of a pop song, especially as 74, 75 was quite a famous hit, especially in the normal charts. But I think this one, I don't know, it just feels I don't know. It just feels very unique in the rock genre, I would say. And Yeah, and yeah, speaking of the bass, this song has one of my favorite bass riffs. It's so memorable and also so easy to play on bass. I could just play it off by heart right now if I want to. It's a bass that's short, but a bass riff that's short, but yeah, just memorable and does a lot for this particular track. The only other bass set of notes which I remember is a song called Forever by Papa Roach, which yeah, that too is also 4 memorable notes, um, yeah, across the bass guitar. That but yeah, both of those use that bass riff quite a lot. In fact, I think the only time the bass changes in the chorus, where it uses a couple of the same notes, but yeah, then it varies. Yeah, and once again, this is I think a lot of these songs in this list do have written music, thanks to me, my acquaintance, and yeah, the bass and the drum are definitely the highlights of this one. Because yeah, I really like it when the bass and the drums go well together. You don't normally associate with them together, but yeah, they're just yeah, they sometimes can be really good the buddies in a lot of songs. And then yeah, the guitar that comes in yeah adds more power to the track, and I really like the lead vocals as well. They're nice and deep, and yeah, and the deepness varies across. And I don't really know what the song's about, unfortunately. As I mentioned previously, I'm rubbish with lyrics, but yeah, it's just a very simple song. Yeah, a lot of the same drum work, guitar work, and bass work. There's not really a bridge to this one, if anything. In fact, I think there's a bit of synth work in the chorus. There's like another tune to on top of it to make the chorus a bit more powerful. But yeah, it's just the bass is great. Yeah, it helps start off the song before the drums come in, and then that similar bass riff where the bass almost has its time to shine. Yeah, it just comes at the end of each chorus, and it's just a really fab song. So if you like simpler rock songs with deep vocals, similar to the Smiths, and where the bass and thus the drums kind of show off, then yeah, this is definitely the track for you. This same band has played this once more live recently, which is rather good. It is, I would say, I like 74, 75, despite it sounds very different to what they were like 5 or so years prior. But yeah, I would argue this is the best song. Yeah, once again, the simplicity of the instruments coming together is great stuff, and I'm not sure if I think that's the term I've been describing for nearly every song. Yeah, anyway, let's move on to the next track. Okay, so Lucy Woodward, someone who I think is very similar to the likes of Delta Goodrum, Carrie Underwood, one of those types of vocalists who, female vocalist that's a little bit rocky at parts. Lucy Woodward's far more under the radar, though, even at a point where she's actually mostly a backing vocalist for the likes of Rob Stewart and many more. But she is definitely a good artist in our fit herself. Anyway, and not. Yeah, so this particular album, as well as this track, there's another good one called. What was it called? I forgot. Still rather good though. But it does have the single called Trouble With Me, which you can find on Atlantic Records, which is one of a YouTube channel you can come across. And I think Atlantic Records is probably a famous one as well. But yeah, Trouble With Me, it's fantastic track. It has country elements, as in the instrumental parts, like when guitars are quite twanging, often strummy, and then their slightly heavier guitar parts are a bit more prominent here compared to what a normal country song sounds like. And despite both the single and this particular song having some good vocals, not done in a normal story way, which you would hear in a Dolly Parton song or a Kenny Rogers song or even a Johnny Cash song, where they're far more narrative focused. But yeah, it just has that similar vibe. It's more like in that single compared to this track here. The single is so good, but I will talk about this another time. But yeah, let's talk about this one. So yeah, some really cool elements. It has its own guitar solo, which does well with sounding like the rest of the track. It's a track that's introduced using a piano, which is also quite fitting with the rest of the sound of the song. I don't think the piano comes again. If anything, it would be quite faint during the chorus, because the chorus has the guitars, the drums, and being the vocals. Also being quite in the forefront as well, because I've talked about dozens of times about how a lot of these songs instrumentals quite complex at a point where the vocals are like a nice simple addition to them, so they don't outweigh the instrumental stuff. But there are instances where if the instrumental is powerful enough, and then having strong vocals to tie with it can go very well. And Lucy Woodward is definitely quite a cool vocalist. She has more of a timid voice during the verse as well, which is quite fitting, because I think it's like one of those love songs where it captures the sense of being paranoid, perhaps, because it mentions lyrics about mentioning someone with someone else, and then probably sounds like it's after a breakup. Yeah, once again, I'm rubbish with lyrics, so I might be wrong, but that's the impression I got. But yeah, like the verse kind of captures those more deep and sad emotions, and then the chorus kind of all of those emotions just like burst almost, and there's like a hint of anger almost, which is really interesting. And even the guitar work even reflects that, because the second verse, despite carrying on using them or going back to the lighter, more timid vocals, the guitars and the drum work is a bit more prominent in the second verse. And there's also one highlight where during like one of the earlier sentences of the second verse, the guitars and the drums had this one instance of going. It's something like that. If you heard that, it's that's what the guitars and drums do, which they don't do in the verse first. So it's really cool to vary the verses like that, and because it can be cool if the verses instrumentals work the same way, even if they use the same lyrics, but sometimes varying it just adds a bit more flavour and more to think about when listening to a track. And and another interesting part is that during the final chorus, after quite an interesting bridge where the guitar work comes into play and the song almost sounds a bit messier, but I think it's done intentionally to really capture the amount of thoughts you would be having based on what the song was establishing in terms of themes and thoughts, or what the song's about. And then the chorus, the final chorus, it has Lucy in the forefront, mainly harmonising and using a wide range of stronger vocals, and then you have the chorus done by her own backing vocalist, just multiple of them. And I think it kind of captures like the difference between how you feel on the inside compared to the inside. The backing vocalist kind of remind me of the thoughts you're having in your head. The song could even be about how you keep coming back to how you keep showing off these strong emotions only to finally keep it in and then express it through other ways. I think that's one way to interpret the song, because there's not many instances where the verses, the lines of a chorus get given to the backing vocalist while the lead harmonizes in various ways. And the harmonizing is just as simple as nice long vocals, because I think the longest harmony she pulls off is about 3 to 4 seconds, which is rather good and strong. And Yeah, what else can be said? Yeah, just a song that constantly, uh, those drums and guitars, they keep on whacking, and I'm not sure that's the right way, but just the way they come in and out, especially with the demonstration I given off of the second verse, and yeah, it's yeah, the song is nearly as good as the single. The single definitely has its own strengths, and yeah, if it wasn't for that song, it wouldn't have maybe as invested in this song as I am now, alongside the rest of their material, which I have listened to, and it is rather good stuff. So if you like the likes of Delta Goodrum and Carry On the Bud, then yeah, you'll definitely like Lucy here as well. And I think this is probably her best album. Um, so yeah, just a really good album track. It's one that has a lot to yeah, just it has a lot to it, and once again, I've got a guitar tab of this, which is added online. You can have fun with the solo and long solo bits and bobs as well. It does slow down in areas, and the chords are a bit more complex as well. Yeah, not your average everyday chords. Are quite big, because when you have guitar chords, then you have to line your finger across one of the frets and then put the rest of the fingers at certain places. It has a lot of chords like that, which is yeah, it just really shows off the complexity and the scale of the song as well. But anyway, yeah, let's move on.
Okay, so this is a pretty interesting track. This one is almost is it like more like an electronic rock song, as in like when you hear the guitar, there's like more emphasis on the electrical side, because so when you listen to any rock song, you wonder how much you can hear the strings, or if there's been additional effects that have been added on top of. And this is the case here. But yeah, I think the song does demonstrate those effects rather well, and yeah, and not to mention, whilst if anything, there are like occasional moments, like for instance when one of the guitars comes in, or even the bass, you can hear quite it sounds almost like a tugging sound, but when you like place your hand on the strings and like and click the strings now that the strings are still, to create that like that quicker sound, which is heard in all sorts. But yeah, I think the chugging is, yeah, it's a bit more lighty and not much on the hand when the guitars make a start on the song. And but yeah, the song actually starts with like some drums, and then yes, then the trumpet guitar comes along, and then the full power of all the instruments come in before the vocals comes in. And I remember this one as a music video as well. I don't quite remember it. I remember it was I guess it's a similar theme to what this album cover is, where it's like some dark cinematography and that. And but yeah, I really like whoever is the lead vocalist. I really like his vocals, because they're very bold and powerful, and one of the times when he needs to he uses that side of his voice at the right time, mainly during that chorus. And but not to mention, I like some of his like higher notes as well, when he ends some of the lines on the verse, or verses rather. And or actually no, I'm more like referring to the pre-chorus, that at the end of each line, because I remember having one of those moments where I really liked how that pre-chorus went, but I don't remember what song it was. But then so I counted it again, and yeah, I was very pleased. And yeah, and I remember the guitar does there is a solo in the song as well. Yeah, once again, like there's like a lot of effects to the guitar, and so it's another solo which where the solo like really nicely fits with what the notes they've gone for the like the melodies and to have that as well. Because even the main melody is rather intense. It feels like really snap. I want to say snap, but it just feels like a single flick of the string is extremely powerful. And especially during these instrumental parts, once the song probably gets going, and after both choruses, there's like a lot of power, and there's sometimes when songs get a bit more powerful, or try and be powerful, sometimes it can be a bit too much, but because once again there's good build up, and because it doesn't immediately go into powerful stuff. It just it's almost like setting up what's happening in the background, and then it gets to the main melodies, and then even then it kind of calms down once the singer comes about. And speaking of which, and the higher notes which I like, he does sing once, like the chorus once, almost like after the bridge, where there's hardly any instruments happening in the background, and then it's just his vocals, and it even sounds extra clear as well. And because as well as the high notes used at the end of during the pre-chorus, like maintains that just for that little bit in the bridge, which shows the variation in his voice. And I don't really know what this song's about. I think the title could give you some guesses. Yeah, because I think this is a song that came out during the 2010s, but it does sound like a 2000 song. Like the kind of powerful rock track, which kind of gives you a lot of confidence, especially after you felt bad. But I think this one, because it's not an emotional track, it's a track that just has a lot of weight and power to it. Sorry, I've accidentally gone to the next slide. But yeah, I'll just find it. Like I said, it's not emotional, but it's just very powerful, and it just gets you motivated. Which I do prefer songs that have more of an emotional side to it. But like I said, if the note choices are good and the weight is there, then that is what would make me happy. And not to mention, I do like the guy's vocals as well. Just only using his powerful vocals when the time is right. So yeah, if you like songs that have a bit more effects to it, then definitely recommend that one. And and I think I'll stop right there. I think Nine Lashes have only done a couple of albums. Not a whole lot of to their discography, but I hope I hear more in the future because they're great. But yeah, let's get on to this next track. This one has two versions. One which it's more like the quieter one because it's just only like the strings that play. I think that's like the album version, but the single or the music video version that has a bit more going on, like alongside the strings. Like just to clarify, like the string work is done by this band called Apocalyptica, who have only they mainly do orchestral music, but you just have like a rocky element to it or like a gothic element to it. But it's collaborating with the either 3 Days Grace or just the lead of that band, because Apocalyptica could have played the guitar, because I don't remember the lead singer of 3 Days Grace playing the guitar. I could be wrong though. But in either version, the song is like this one feels like more deep and sad and angry, especially when compared to songs like the Nine Lashes track earlier. And because this one's definitely powerful in its own way as well, because to have a mix of the orchestra, that makes this song really interesting. It definitely stands out as well, because Apocalyptica they've done one or two other collaborations with rock artists, but I think this one's the most famous one. This was during the 2000s, and yeah, I just suddenly realised there's different lyrics too, especially I remember there's different lines after the first chorus. So yeah, there's that. And is his name Adam, the bleater from 3 Days Grace? Yeah, like his as always his voice is fab, and he like in either version of the song, he does use like the the softer vocals, which I like too, because sometimes when he sings, there's like a slight underlying sadness to it, which fits with the theming for a lot of his songs. But then during the chorus, he adds more power and gruffness to it, when it's called for, and to go along with like the electric guitars, especially electric guitars that have a lot of amp in it. They both work really well, because especially how rough his voice is, as well as like the guitar work can be a bit rough too. The guitar is quite powerful, and even the drums at a point where the string work may have continued. If not, it's very small in the background. But then in either bridge on either version of the song, it does become a bit more prominent, able to work alongside the electric guitar and drums, which it's a nice touch, adds a bit more of a glance to the song. And even that bridge ends with like a tinkling piano as well. And then it just slowly gets quiet, and then it just plays the chorus once more. And at the moment I'm struggling to tell the difference between the two versions of the song. I think the music video version has a bit more effect to Adam's voice. Oh yeah, because it sounds echoey, then it goes into clear, and then it's more clear, layered in the bridge, as in like his voice is like duplicated. But in the album version, it's just like him singing on his own, and that's all I can remember. So yeah, it's not often times where pianos and violins and even is it a cello? Oh my god, I've got what a massive piano is called. Yeah, I think cellos. Yeah, not many instances where you hear those kind of songs going alongside electric guitars, and really thumping drums. It's a mix that we've hardly heard, and and then I haven't heard much anyway. And it's just I really like that mixture, and it does it extremely well. And mixing it with metal vocals as well. It's very well executed track. This I remember encountered the song during like the early days of finding 2000s rock music, and this one I was definitely impressed with. So good work everyone. Kind of wish they collabed more, or well, not just with 3 Days Grace, but just with other rock music, because it looks like they prefer being an orchestral band on their own, which is totally fine. And and also, despite the change in lyrics, the point of the song is still there. It definitely sounds like another post-breakup song, but it's one that sounds a bit more gothic. So like the mixture of those. Not the biggest fan of also just like varying versions of songs as well, but I suppose if there's enough of a difference, which this one has, I do prefer the music video version more because of how much more there is to listen to. I think it plays around with more elements, but the album version, which uses his cover, by the way, it's just a bit more natural, and mainly uses the power during the choruses and bridge. This applies to the other thing, but it's just the verses in the album cover. There's a lot less instruments either way. I think we'll stop right there. Just like I said, just good mixture, very good 2000 song. Let's go on to the next one. Alright, this band I like a lot. Tons of songs I like. A good majority of the singles I do like as well. Of course, there's Bring Me to Life, which has Is his name Corey? The male singer of that song. I, I remember searching more of him, and the only YouTube results was just that song. So that collaboration was either really popular or he hasn't done anything else. Which I'm just gonna expand more about that. So yeah, that song was good. I also really like Lithium's really nice. I like the cover for um, Heart Shaped Box, and Before the Dawn is also like a very atmospheric track. And just trying to remember the other ones. Everybody's Full, yeah, I like that one. Yeah, gosh, that's all I can remember for now. Yeah, so those are like the favourite ones. And I like Going Under as well. That was one of the first, wasn't it? I could be wrong. Although, yeah, because I'm not the most familiar of this era, but regardless, this was definitely the most popular or successful album, especially with Bring Me to Life being part of this album. And yeah, despite enjoying this album alongside the others, because there's just a lot to. They're just extremely distinct, and that's thanks to Amy D's vocals, who, they're kind of vocals. I want to, oh gosh, how would you say? I want to like almost compare it to Adele, but at the same time, Adele is able to add a bit of gruffness to her voice when she goes for stronger notes. But Amy Lee still has a lot of power, but there's no gruffness to a voice at all. And it does vary between like low and high notes rather quickly. It's almost deep's the wrong word, but yeah, it just has a lot of power to it, and it's like very soft at the same time, which is a really nice mixture. And I think her alone helps make this band stand out compared to other rock bands that have a female lead to it. Anyway, so yeah, this album, which has Bring Me to Life, but yeah, this album track I really like because it starts out very similar to Bring Me to Life, where it does have a piano one, but whilst Bring Me to Life has a much slower build up, and it has a bit of a ominous or like mysterious atmosphere as it first occurs, but with Taken Over, it's like a really good hook, and then it gets into the stuff, quick stuff. Or when the guitars and drums start coming in. Although it only comes in slightly because it then gets a bit quieter, and then the choruses are quite powerful as well. And I think this song's like Try Not to Let Someone Go. Like Try Not to Let Someone Go. Yeah, I think that's what I can understand the most from this song. Um, so yeah, it's less complex to compared to Bring Me to Life, but I do really like. I think as well as just like the great hook at the start with the piano. I do like which I think is probably like some synth work or even could be an orchestra, and that just hangs about lightly in the background as Amy's Lee. Oh, sorry, I've done one of those in ages. Um, what was I? So vocals are like more at the forefront in the choruses, and then it even is still in the forefront during the. Oh yeah, sorry, I was talking about the verse, and now I'll talk about the chorus. Yeah, the chorus does have like way more instruments. Compared to the verse, because if anything, also between the verse and the chorus, like the guitar and the drums like come in slightly, which just helps like prepare for what the chorus is like, and it has a powerful bridge as well. So yeah, I remember that, and I just really like the notes because I think the piano is like very common in these other songs, but with this one, it's just like the sweet chime at the start, with what notes that were chosen for the piano, and um, yeah, I think that's what I can say. Yeah, just it is just very like similar when looking at this band's singles, but um, yeah, like I said, yeah, just like almost sweet piano notes, and also to go for like quiet verses and then louder choruses. I felt like yeah, I think this one probably does that the most. And not to mention, it's worth mentioning that Amy Lee does sing on her own as well, because there's another song I like called Speak to Me, which is more of a slow ballad. Yeah, definitely no guitars in there whatsoever, but yeah, I just really like yeah, the mixture of yeah, her vocals and piano alone. Yeah, that does very well. And I'm not sure if it's in this list or not, but another worthy mention is that there's a cover of Freak on a Leash where she sings with called Jonathan Davis, and it's this song in a more acoustic way, which I really like, and yeah, I do recommend that as well. So yeah, Taking Over Me is just very yeah, just um, a slightly well, an Evanescence track which somewhat stands out in its own way. But yeah, like I said, yeah, that version of Freak on a Leash is rather good because yeah, Amy acts as like the backing vocals, and then she sings with Jonathan alongside the chorus, and then um, yeah, because like the guitar in that as well. Yeah, even the piano's like very ominous and mostly quiet, and then has an orchestra in the background where it almost sounds like a score for a like a scary kids film almost. It has that kind of energy, which yeah, I just really like it. Yeah, there's no other song like it, and yeah, and also Amy uses like longer vocals at the end, well during the bridge of the Freak Unleashed cover as well. So yeah, it's just fab work there. Yeah, probably one of my favourite songs involved with both Jonathan and Amy, and other collaborations with yeah, well, just whoever else was there. Yeah, I'll give you all the credit. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. All right, so this one is a very fascinating track, and I feel like compared to the other songs in this list, I think this is the newest one I personally encountered, and I feel like this is also like a 2010s rock song as well, but I could be wrong. So yeah, when describing this song, so yeah, it starts off quite quietly, and it starts off with a lightly light electronic guitar strumming, and yeah, it goes for an effect where you can like hear like the proper natural sound of the strings as the guitarist just goes up and down at a very fairly deceiving speed, and then the additional guitar kind of comes in when the bloke starts singing, and a bit of drumming as well, and then all of that builds up until the climaxes during the chorus. But then there's this nice moment where during the chorus's climax, a couple of lines of lyrics has been done. The guy finishes on a final strong note from his voice, and then it gets into like its own like solo guitar melody. We used at the end of both choruses, yeah, which I just remember being a really nice touch. And then it just goes back into we're going into the following verse. It then goes on to that same quieter guitar as well. Yeah, I really like the guys' vocals as well. Yeah, because they're quite snappy. Well, they like the wording is, and like the speed of the song. Without but he maintains like a very smooth voice as he does it, despite the speed it goes through. How quick he says more words compared to others. Yeah, it's just a very very well balanced voice he has, and then then he then puts some slightly more powerful vocals as the song builds up, and then during the chorus, like him and his backing vocals, like unleash it all, or especially with the lead having the long note at the end of both chorus. This song almost has like a medieval feel to it, especially with because these like both the lead and the backing vocalist, they sound like quite mature men who have like somewhat powerful vocals. It just feels like a lot of like thrusts like produced as the instruments go crazy, and it's almost like a Imagine Dragon feel, but Imagine Dragons are not only a bit more modern with how they approach music, but sometimes when multiple sing at once, it has quite an echoey deep feel. I think I felt like this band kind of does that approach with this song too, and probably amongst other ones as well. But I can't remember if I don't know if I've listened to the rest of the discography or not, but I should do, because the song is a very good one. And also, I remember there's the bridge as well. That's the last part to talk about this song. I think the first can remember that has like a more of a snappy guitar, despite sticking to the guitar's note. Sorry, but that's probably too many S's. And I just sorry. Okay. Sorry. I have other things going on, so these have to be done before my schedule. But anyway, so if you like songs that have a lot of male vocals during the chorus, especially where it's powerful and it has like a minor medieval theme to it, almost like a song that can be played while surrounded by fire. It definitely has that kind of feel when the chorus plays, and I like how quiet it is during the verses, as if you can like really distinctly hear each part of the song before all of the layers are used during the choruses. And if this song is enough to interest me to listen to the rest of the discography, then this song is definitely done stuff it right, and it does make them distinct, especially with how smooth the guys' voices. You had to, like I said, to go quick without like cracking his voice. It just sounds very experienced, and and I really like the guitar endings at the chorus as well. Just they're good final punch before looping again. If anything, it may go quiet, from the first chorus to the following verse, but after the second chorus, it carries on going loud, which just a nice way to vary the song, I suppose. And not to mention, if going from chorus to verse is different than chorus to bridge, then there will be differences. A variety of differences, but it's just a nice difference with all sorts of songs, especially this one. Sorry, I don't know what the song's about, but like I said, just like how powerful it is, and just very memorable at places too. Let's go. Following song. Right, so going back onto a more popular band, definitely popular in the 2000s. They also appeared in Eurovision a year or two ago, representing Sweden, so good for them. And I think I came across this band in about 2018, I think, especially when I was trying to come across one a popular 2000s band after the next, and I thought they're rather cool. They because especially are they from Sweden? Because because like Swedish people, they they know how to make very good music, and not to mention whoever their lead singer is, he definitely has a nice distinct voice, and one that's has like nice alternative feel to it. Because I think I don't remember much about the Eurovision track. I did remember liking the song as one of my favourites that year. Yeah, it's quite fun tracks by how heavy it is, and I think they were definitely one of those Eurovision competitors that definitely had a lot of mainstream experience, and then to attend, because it was a good time for them to attend as well, because I don't think they did an awful lot until then. I could be wrong, but sheds more spotlight on them, which is nice. But anyway, whether it was a single or not, I really like this track as well. It starts off like quite quietly, where like there's bass parts every now and again, like a couple of singular synthesizer notes, and the lead has like gentle vocals at first, and then the rest of the chorus has the the drum beat, and then when it comes to we're just like more into the verse, because when it even plays the verse again, the drum beat comes about more so, but then the pre-chorus, despite how short it is, then that's where it comes along with guitar strings, which helps establish what the rest of the song's going to be, especially with the choice of notes or the type of power chords it's going for. And what was introduced to the pre-chorus then goes full on. Goes full on during the chorus, which it's rather nice. And I feel like this song does have in the vocals a bit more in the forefront compared to the rest of the instruments, but he puts on despite being powerful, it's like a nice voices he uses for this one, because it's more of a sweet sounding track, which is definitely suitable, because if the song is about what the title says, then to have a bit more of a positive song, that's still standing, because I think the song does cover some troubles you have, or feeling down or whatever you're surrounded by. I think it's like a way to songs about overcoming that, which it's just a nice way to approach that theme. And not to mention the last pre-chorus has that really unique part where, because in the prior pre-choruses it's normally like the guitar coming in, and then the drums only build up the beat before going on to its own rhythm during the chorus. But in the bridge, however, or the final pre-chorus, the drum builds up a good few times, and crescendos at the end of each time, to maintain the momentum. Because not to mention both pre-choruses have different lyrics, but it's almost like the final pre-chorus puts both pre-chorus lyrics together, so it makes it longer, hence why if the drum builds up 3 or 4 times, and to do that, it's just very interesting way, because just beforehand they have the bridge, which the both regards is mostly silent, alongside the lead vocals putting on some quieter vocals, and if even vocals that are a bit more on the forefront as well, to create more of a intimate feel, which it's a nice touch. And there's more of his vocals in the final chorus as well, to make the final chorus a bit more powerful. So I like that too. And that's why this one's my favourite Rasmus track, and it's one I definitely remember the most, the one I've listened to the most, despite actually not listening to it in a while. But I think it's I really like it. especially with like with the soft synth parts in the background, and then just the nice clarity of the drum, which it's rather nice. And and just only hear occasional guitar parts as well. That's not something I've heard that approach of much. But did that sound English? Sorry. But just with the guitar being occasional during the verse, which was nice, and then to have powerful choruses in between. It's just a song that like builds up and slows down at a fairly consistent rate. So well done for this song. It's definitely one of Rasmus's the best pieces. So let's get on to the next one. Alright, so when sharing this song to my acquaintance, he thought this was another 90s inspired song because it reminded him of a couple of 90s bands which use heavy electronic elements despite mainly being a rock song. And I feel like this band has like some inspiration from that perhaps. I still need to find out who that band is because I didn't get to run to listen to them, but I would like to listen to it because, as far as when I last researched, I think this was Codec's only album, and which is a real shame because I remember really enjoying this album and this track in particular, which is named after Minecraft creator. I don't know why it's called that though, because maybe the word means something or the name means something. And it's not said in the chorus at all. What's this a song about? No, I can't really put my finger on it. It sounds really interesting, and when breaking down the song, so this song has a very good hook with just like the guitar alone alongside just some assisting drums. Definitely a memorable like deeper guitar melody where it sounds like it's going for strings, like lower guitar strings, and as well as how it's not only starts off the song that way, but it ends it as well. Just like a giving the song a proper start and ending, and then then when it gets louder onto like a second time of main riff, it goes for guitar notes which not only more electronic, but they feel like extra long. Like it feels like with every string you that you like pick, it continues despite other notes going along. It has that kind of layering, long-lasting effect, which was really interesting, and that's where some electronic bits coming in, and then it's more like an electronic keyboard that plays throughout the chorus, like a very quiet mute one as this singer comes about, and the singer he like puts on a like a quiet like mysterious voice, just to sell a bit more of a it's almost more like a gloomy atmosphere, like it's not scary, but it just almost feels it kind of it feels like a sci-fi song almost. So just it feels almost like floating in space, but then when it gets louder in the chorus, that's where it feels like an extreme moment in space, when you're just like being shaken around in a rocket. I think that's the kind of thing it gives me. And I was just trying to think about the bridge as well, because I think he's able to make his voice slightly snappy at times as well. Because I think he has a mostly like simple vocals, but not because during the chorus he does like a couple of harmonizing as like backing vocals also during the chorus, which adds like more powers and aids to the vocals, and then it goes on for like a good long higher note as he ends the chorus. So he's definitely he's talented, and Yeah, I just remember encountering this song where because the because yeah, like it was more the mainstream 2000s song where when I was starting listening to music every day, and 2000 rock was like one of the first things to go for. Yeah, that's why I was going for like more mainstream choices, but that's where I came across. I think I'm going to mention the channel later on when we encounter the band Fairground, but yeah, it's an YouTube channel that has a collection of rock albums that have completely gone under the radar. Definitely one-offs of bands that never got to like have proper success. Well, not as much success. Yeah, I think you could just guess that yeah, they weren't very popular, but that's the point of that channel. Just to provide some light to the albums, which is really nice of them. And but yeah, I just remember regarding this song and album because yeah, that's why I was just finding more under the radar guitar stuff, which was coming about during the end of my GCSE year, or the same year I was searching for even more music instead of letting like songs come to me. And yeah, because of that slightly emotional hook which the song has like during the chorus. Yeah, like when he starts with the lines, some say like that's like the key favorite part of that song because it just feels more, yeah, it just feels almost like uplifting, and again that's where like the gloominess stops and then like goes into light almost. Um, yeah, it's just that kind of feeling I get every time. It's just yeah, very special and unique in some way, and yeah, sorry if you um heard that. I might have paused just in time, but um, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's just finish off the critique for this song. So yeah, I think that's all I can say. So yeah, like the way it starts, it ends. I like the electronic elements. I really like the part in the chorus. I like the guy's vocals. Yeah, it is just some top-notch stuff, and yeah, song to also provide reverence for the 90s. Yeah, just seeing how what the 90s introduced, and then just seeing what they can experiment with it. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame this once again that this band hasn't done more, but yeah, I just think that song was great, and yeah, this whole album's rather nice as well because it does attempt to carry on the style which this song has, considering is that the first song or could even be the second one, so it's definitely one of the more introductory ones, which is a smart choice because yeah, this song's great, has a lot of unique elements to it. Uh, yeah, so yeah, let's go on to the next one.
So in 2017, where I was a big fan of rock music at the time, just exploring a lot in that genre. Much later on, when I was coming to the summer, and I've encountered a YouTube channel which I think he was called Dicto or something like that. A really cool YouTube channel. He releases rock albums like one-offs done by just yeah, like I said, various bands who mainly done one album and sadly couldn't continue as I just mentioned there. And assuming I've released my album video first, the Girl on Fire album, Not Broken, that too was part of well, I first encountered that album through that channel, which yeah, just yeah, a lot of highlights from that channel, and I still like listening to those albums to this day because yeah, there's some proper, well, not only good albums but good individual tracks as well. And this one was definitely one of my favourites when going through that channel. And yeah, this is the first track of this album. Yeah, I think the album does share the same name as the song. Does it? I could be wrong. Yeah, what do I compare this song to? I'm not sure. It's just it's like emotional but grungy at the same time. Like the way like you hear the strings, they sound like what's that part of the guitar where it where the strings go. No, I can't make the sound. Um, um, but yeah, I think if anything, it just makes the strings sound very pingy almost, because the main melody and even the solo, they're very they're done. It's quite hard picks to the string, and and that starting off the song, it does help create a really good hook alongside another guitar that is just only done one strum, and it establishes what the rest of the song's gonna be like. And I like the lead vocals, whoever did this song. As you can tell, aside from a couple of people, I'm not very good with names of lead singers or those who do instruments, mind you. I know a couple, but I wish I knew more names. Anyway, so the vocalist has quite a simple voice, although as well as being able to have slightly stronger vocals during the chorus, alongside some pretty good backing vocalists as well, because the last line of the chorus, which ends in E, as in the sound E, it feels like it's croaked up in a nice way, and I think it just helps add to the weight of the song. Because I think this song's almost like about being left out, especially after being somewhere once and not knowing where to go. That's how I kind of remembered, because during my last year of secondary school, I felt like I was a bit isolated from time to time. So I just remember the song being a great help in that department. And what else? The drum work is mostly steady throughout. Yeah, it's normally the same speeds, like with the verse and chorus, but then it does stop at certain points. Like there's this very quick segment between the verse and the chorus where both the drum and the rest of the guitars go silent, and then you have just the vocalist carrying on a bit alongside one guitar that does slightly mute power chords. But that you can see on my guitar tab website, because I've made a guitar tab for this as well, me and my acquaintance. So it's that was fun to do. And when I listen to the song, I do envision this album, which like I said, it seems nice, evokes a lot of atmosphere, just slightly grungy at the same time, which I think that's the theme I've encountered when listening to that whole YouTube channel full of those albums. A lot of the albums are quite grungy. This one has it had more of an emotional touch to it, because it's not as heavy compared to the other albums I came across on that channel. And I just wondering what else to say. It has a good solo as well. Once again, it sounds like the rest of the song, so very good. For it to do that. Because I've heard of songs where sometimes I listen to solos and I just remember thinking, maybe even if it sounds nice, it's not very fitting with the rest of the song, especially by not going for the same notes or the same feel. But this song, I think, achieves that. And it's just overall, I think it's just a very underrated guitar piece. Just quite emotional, and not the most emotional, but it helped me through rough times, and I'm kind of getting started listening to the song as well. So it's definitely done something right. Let's get on to the next one.
So before me and my acquaintance were creating guitar tabs that never existed before, because they were just normal guitar lessons at first, and I was just choosing whatever song I wanted to do. And I've gone for this one, which was very cool because I like this band as well. They've done another song called Blackheart, which also has an acoustic version as well. And yeah, I think the far as I can remember, that song is like mostly quiet, and then it has like more of a powerful chorus. Granted, the acoustic one is a bit more level with its power throughout, but yeah, with the official version, yeah, does have a powerful chorus with the drums and guitar coming in. I think that's their most famous track, but this one is fab. Because yeah, according to my acquaintance, despite being like a 2010s rock track somewhere, it's 90s inspired, and one of the key features is that the guitar strumming goes exactly like parallel with like the drum hits, which creates that pounding motion, which it's very good at keeping the songs an emotion. Even when the song just starts with the guitar, it keeps you interested, and then the bit of the bass drum like really comes in, and then I'm just like, oh wow. And yeah, I don't think there's any piano or keyboards. I could be wrong because I feel like I heard something in the bridge, but no, it's I think this one's just it's definitely one of those songs where yeah, the guitars and drums, like the way they work together, they're yeah, definitely the forefront, but also her, whoever the lead singer is, yeah, she works alongside the instruments rather well, and until they get loud, and when she goes loud with them in the chorus, yeah, that they, all those elements also go really well, especially with how powerful she makes a voice. But during the verse, she creates more of a almost like a spooky voice, or just just like a bit more mystery, because yeah, this song is almost like a it's just I think it's like one of those like yeah, because I can't really because most rock songs they normally have like a deeper meaning, but with this one it's just almost like having a bit of fun and pretending to be something that's scary at night, which yeah, and the way it's written, yeah, just gives you that clear perspective, even if most of it is quite abstract, and yeah, it's yeah to to go for these abstract and just fun lyrics that aren't so deep, while also still having a song that's quite powerful. Yeah, especially with all of the power chords, and because with how snappy the guitar is, sometimes we can't really like hear what notes they are, but yeah, they're definitely at the top to the center of the guitar, because yeah, when I was doing it, yeah, it's just only like a good couple of power chords at a point where it's just a very simple electric guitar track. Yeah, definitely good for whoever is trying to get familiar with power chords with a song. It's a very good starting point. And yeah, I remember the bridge, which is quite loud, and then it goes quiet, and then it goes back to the chorus again, which is yeah, and just a nice way to vary at the end of the song. And yeah, I feel like this a good band to compare them to is the Pretty Reckless, because that band also has like minor gothic elements, and even the lead yeah, it reminds me of whoever the lead is here, where they're able to have like powerful vocals, but a lot of the time they put on almost like a spookier, quieter voice to really sell that gothic atmosphere. And yeah, fun fact, the Pretty Reckless, it has an actress who used to be in the live action version of The Grinch, whoever played the girl. I've never watched The Grinch really. I've just only seen snippets. But yeah, fun fact for you about the band, the Pretty Reckless. Yeah, yeah, I just always found that quite amusing. But yeah, she does really well as a rock star for the Pretty Reckless. Yeah, just like she does well for Diamante, Diamante. Either way. So yeah, just very simple power chord track here, just very snappy. I like the way the guitar and the drums come in, just almost like like some reverence for 90s rock, because I can't really think of any 90s rock track at the moment which does this, but yeah, it's just nice to use that trick in a way which makes it stand out, because I feel like it's the most power I've ever heard, and just the way how snappy it is, it just does extremely well. And even at times where it gets quieter, such as the end of the bridge, it just able to like retain the momentum like rather well. And that's all I can say for this one. So pretty much get the idea for this one. This one's a proper banger. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so this the other songs I'm more familiar of compared to this one, because if anything, I definitely remember the beginning parts, which I think a lot of it's repeated anyway. But let's just talk about what I do know of. So firstly, this is the same Deep Purple that does Smoke in the Water, which is a very snazzy, catchy tune, and definitely a good representative for what 70s rock was like. This is a song that's done much later in their career, 90s or 2000s, so could be 80s, but I think the first two decades were probably better guesses. So this one, it's a mostly quiet track, and then you just after a lot of nice singing, it then goes into like a guitar melody, which I think it's used at the end of both verses. Like quite a lengthy guitar melody too, because this song's about 5 or 6 minutes. So it's a song that really likes to take its time, and then during the chorus, that's where it goes a bit more powerful, and it kind of reminds me of a Slade song where they used vocals in slightly less controlled ways, and there's like a snazziness to it, and the like how light and loud the guitar notes are. It kind of reminds me of that. Sorry, I'm back. Just I was just giving myself a couple of reminders. So a lot of interesting things about the song. So because when listening to this band discography, because whilst Smoke in the Water is like I said, more a like a snazzier track compared to this one, which is a bit more grand. There's not as well as like the end of the choruses. There was also a some at times like other lengthier instrumental parts, and even the end of the song has more of a key change. And if you wonder what key change is, it's where like the noting sounds like more different, but whilst obeying what the established notes were, but by going for a key change, it just helps the variation in the feel of the track. So for instance, Come On Eileen definitely has like the verses sound like a bit more like sweeter, but then it gets a bit more lively during the choruses, and then in this song it it goes for like probably like more like a different kind of sweet when it gets to the end of the song. And I just remember listening to this, despite not being as familiar with this song compared to the other ones. I just remember thinking this one's also just a very nice guitar piece, because despite how late this is in their career, it does feel like a song that's represented the 70s, because when you're looking at the length of the song again, it's actually 7 minutes, and it just feels like a homage to the 70s, because even the 70s like to go for lengthier song tracks like Stairway to Heaven, and there's a lot of guitar work during the choruses as well. It was loads. Could even be the keyboard squeezed in there as well. So yeah, this is almost like a feel good tune where, you know, just nice and soothing in between, and there's a lot of instrumental areas for you to listen to, especially for those who like to listen to guitar melodies in between vocals. So yeah, that one's definitely for you. And yeah, because whilst we all know Smoke and the Water, yeah, it's a very good one. Yeah, it definitely has that memorability. Like, you can definitely tell it's them, but yeah, to mature into a song like this, yeah, it's just an indication of very good progression. And um, so yeah, I think that's what I'll say for this one. So yeah, probably one of the could be the oldest band in this list. And so yeah, it's just just a very decent cool track. Yeah, definitely listen to it if you are a fan of 70s songs. Yeah, this one's definitely uses a lot of what the 70s kind of sets up and establishes, etc. Um, so despite not having as much to say about this one compared to the other ones, yeah, I definitely still recommend it, and you can see how you feel about it yourself.
Okay, so this is a very gentle pop track, if you could call it that. This is a band who does rocky tracks, such as High Class Woman and Lady in Gold, both which I quite like, despite only finding them recently. And yeah, this is this was my favourite track I came across when looking at this band's entire discography. This was so this is one of those tracks where it really connected to me, and I kind of see it as like one of those songs which I like to listen to when I fancy something a bit more gentle, something to reflect on. And I remember, before moving from one place to another, it was like one of the last days of me living in the area I used to live in, and then this was one of the last songs I played whilst I was in the area. So it's one that has personal meaning to me. But despite that, and also I don't know the song is. Actually, I think thinking back on it, I think a lot of the song is the same. It has this. Oh, it's. I think it's between it's either a guitar or keyboard. I'm gonna say guitar. It's like one of those sounds where it doesn't sound very stringy. It has a like a sharp, cloudy note almost. It sounds like it could come from a keyboard, but I won't say it comes from guitar. But as this music video has it, I'm not sure if she actually plays the piano here. It definitely doesn't come from the piano because this is an old one, but interesting if it does. But yeah, it uses that same melody, which pretty much acts like the main foundation of the song. It's very emotional set of notes, and there's not really much else to the song instrumentally. There could be like an additional synthesizer to add a bit more of a layer to it, but maybe like a bit of a bass guitar in there. But I don't. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm not the most familiar with this song, but considering how recently I found it, but yeah, the main melody is great, and despite being played, it repeats it quite a lot, and there's a couple of different parts in between, but yeah, it's just it kind of reminds me of Avril Lavigne's Black Star, although that's a piano sequence that is the repetitive part, but they are both very similar, where they are very slow. They use single instruments to, I just really like the choice of notes and the order of them, and they somehow evoke a lot of emotion. Just something that I find quite reflective, and not to mention the female's vocals, whoever the lead singer is for Blues Pills. She has quite a just strong vocals. That she kind of reminds me of is it Izzy Hale or Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm? That kind of minor gruffness to her voice and able to reach these louder notes which suit the metally rock tunes which they gave for. And yeah, to apply those that same kind of vocals onto a song as gentle as this, it's really interesting because I said numerous times where I often don't like it when vocals overtake the instrumental, but in this case, I feel like the notes are powerful and deep enough at a point where the vocals being strong with it, I give that a pass. I do try and keep my standards consistent, but if the notes are already this good, then it just means that the vocals are able to benefit it. However, because this could easily work with gentle vocals, but no, it's these really powerful ones along the way, and I think this is some of the best vocal work as far as I can remember when listening to a whole discography. Like granted, in Leaning God, there are some really interesting parts where she uses deep vocals, especially as the song opens. But yeah, I just think she really sells the emotion of this song, which you can imagine what the song's about. Coming from this title, like moving on. Even instances where I want to say that it's like coming off from a past relationship, and she's like, we may have passed and broken up, but any faults that have happened, I do, I do take the blame. I think that's what the song's about. I could be wrong, but I just think that is most likely the case here, and. And I say one thing worth mentioning is that I saw a short film that used that song, and I forgot who created that short film, but it just had these two ladies acting, no dialogue, just having the song act as the main audio for the short film. I found it quite emotional, and it's strangely suited it. I haven't seen the music video as a whole. I've seen bits and bobs of it because, I'm more of an audio person when it comes to music, especially when going from tune to tune. But from what I've seen, there was some really interesting shots in here. So, points to the music video as well. So, I think that's what I was going to say. I think this is probably one of the more emotional tracks on this list. And, one of the most emotional songs I've ever encountered. Also, probably one of the latest songs I've come across. It just goes to show what searching for new songs every day leads to. And so glad I encountered this track. Just simple but powerful. Let's move on. Alright, so this one I almost see as like the definition of an 80s rock song, or at least as far as I'm familiar of 80s rock tracks with the many elements to have in common whilst each song being able to stand out on its own. This is definitely a good example, and I kind of wish this was a single because this song's really fantastic. It might have been, and it's not had a video made for it, which can be the case, but even then, I think it's just really good. There's a guitar tab for this song as well. If you ever like this, we're just on my website. It's a very cool track to do. It even has a solo as well. A solo which also goes well with the rest of the track as well. A lot more of a slower build up for this one because it's just like slow guitar with some synth work in the background, and you have the vocals coming up, being quite like a tiny bit powerful with a bit of an edginess to it, and then later on the drums come in
just proper whacking them. And then I think pretty much starts the next part of the song where the bass comes in, the drum works a bit more present. The guitar maintains a very nice riff as well. It's a riff, no, not a riff. It's more like a rhythm, like its own, its own melody of some sort. And it's because this song's a bit like. I could see it as another breakup song. I think that's how I kind of see it, and it goes for a vibe that's I kind of it feels like like it takes place after a breakup. That's like the kind of vibe I get, because normally most pop songs or well any song really, they're about how soon it was they've lost someone. But with this one, I kind of feel like takes place a lot more after, almost as your feelings unsettled and you're not wanting the emotions to drag you down anymore. That's the kind of vibe I've got. And because I like the lyrics as well. They're just very cool, and with the way that the lead sings, because how he starts the song, he kind of maintains it, but with the drum work and the guitar being more present, the vocals are like a bit more clearer, a tad quicker. There's some powerful notes every now and again, or like longer notes, for instance, at the end of the second verse, and the way he sings some lines as well, it feels like he plays a character who's almost in pain but slowly recovering, because when he sings lyrics like "You're cold as ice," it just gets me every time, because I just see it as like a very like a really nice touch to really sell the kind of emotion this song has. And then during the chorus it has these powerful strums which then quicken slightly at the end of each I think once the chorus part repeats again, it just goes back to slow strums, and then they're slightly quicker again. And then also during the solo, there's some chugging which happens later on the solo, which helps vary the solo and adds a bit more to it. And and the solo just also sounds very like the synth notes that has been established throughout the track, and it's also quite a lengthy song as well. I think this is like above 5 minutes, and I can't think of a lot of lengthy rock songs, but this one being the case, it does justify its runtime, I would say so, because the cool build up it has, and it's just it just goes by quite nicely, because even though it quickens up after the first 30 seconds, it does maintain a nice steady speed, which pretty much matches how, because once again most breakup songs are now quite quick, and they just help you. It just helps you, give you something else to think about. But with this one, it's a tad more reflective, which I like. So it's a really good one. If you're wondering what this band has done, they've done a cover of "Come On Feel the Noise," which was originally done by Slade. But other than that, it's been a while since I've listened to the entire discography, and as you can tell, this was my favourite track to come out of it. Just made me really pleased to encounter them and listen to them. Let's move on to the next one. So a year or two before I captured this track, because this song was released in 2017, July in the summer, I think. I think I heard of this band before, and when I first come across them, and it was the song "You Will Know My Name." What's the? I think Ray, is it Alicia
I'm not sure. Is it Lisa? I forgot. Yeah, so the lead female vocalist for this band, or the current one anyway, because there was another beforehand. I think she was called Vicky, although I could be wrong. But yeah, I remember when encountering, by name, and it was the first time I saw a woman be able to uh, have these screeching heavy metal vocals, and I was like, oh wow. And she keeps them throughout the whole of these tunes that you know for this band. Yeah, it's just quite an interesting feat. I thought, yeah, you wouldn't think that women would be able to do these screeching vocals throughout, but anyway, so yeah, counted the band a couple of times on the internet. Yeah, they were interesting. I never really got back, and I was probably listening to other bands at the time, so I then eventually went to them. Well, after coming across this track, because this track, further impressed me. And wow, yeah, I really like this song. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite death metal songs, if not my most favorite death metal songs. There was some interesting criticism against it. A lot of people accused it being unoriginal, which I'm struggling to get. It might sound similar to like other songs, like maybe note wise, but and I suppose like there's a lot of chugging with both the guitar and bass. I suppose that could be similar, but this is a very a unique death metal song, because a lot of death metal stuff I've heard, the guitar chugging, the quick bass, and the loud drums, a lot of it's just maintained from start to finish. That's what normally happens in a average death metal song, but this one goes for a far more unique approach, where there's a little bit of build up, all the instruments show off a bit, then the vocals come in, and then with the chorus goes onto like a different key, or just like a different way of performing the instruments. And I think the verses, well, most of them, like with the first verse, the lead guitar, outside of after a couple of techniques during the intro instrumental, then it both, there's some chugging, but there's also some power chords in between. But then it starts playing some notes in the chorus, and yes, really cool notes that possess a lot of weight and emotion. And yeah, if you know what I mean, it's a very iconic guitar melody, which really stuck to my head immediately. And what's even more impressive is that they managed to do a different key change of the chorus with the last one. I think it goes slightly higher on the guitar, or lower down the guitar's neck, you could say. Yeah, and yeah, it's the same notes but in a different key. And yeah, to hear that, I was just amazed by it when I first heard it, and I'm still amazed, by it today. Because another part that makes this song unique is that, well, in the death metal genre, is that let's see, I think there's like a quite extensive varied bridge, or maybe it could be a third verse and then the bridge. Although actually, now I'm talking about something that comes afterwards. There's when there's a different version of the chorus. So the song establishes what a normal chorus is like, and then it will perform the chorus again, but makes it a bit quieter, different way of representing it, and then it goes back to what the chorus is normally like. And so that's what it does here. But the alternative third chorus, all of the drums and the guitars, they dropped for a second to have a piano do the guitar melody instead. And whilst the lead female vocalist, she has the cool screeching vocals throughout the track, but then when it gets to that alternative chorus, it just goes on. She puts on a voice that's slow and whispery, really calm. It just adds a whole new layer to this track. Yeah, once again, it was made when I first heard it, and yeah, oh my god, it was just it just had a lot of atmosphere to it. I think the music video helped as well because it almost looks like, I think it's well, it's pretend, and but it's set in a space station, because there's some intro shots in space, and I think they would have gone for that approach because they knew that the song would be grand in scale, and so they've gone for a music video that has that. But granted, the space shots is like before and like at the start and at the end of that music video, and the rest takes place in one room. But it's a big, cool room, full of lighting and flashes, and yeah, really cool music video. And it's actually quite easy to play on guitar as well. I could remember being able to play the melody and some of the bass parts quite well. And yeah, and I think what I also like about this track as well, it has a proper like a proper song ending, because when it has the last chorus, in a different key, that it then goes on to a guitar solo, and then it performs the melodies a couple of times as the drums start finishing off, because sometimes when you after hearing other rock performances, or even sort of like an orchestra, sometimes the drum will just show off a couple of just like a solo of its own, because as the melody comes about, the drums just go like, well, something along those lines. I've probably got it wrong, but it's just that kind of way for the drum to say, "Hey, you're not going to have my time to shine. I'm going to be part of the song's ending." Yeah, it's just great. It kind of reminds me of. I'm not sure if any of you've watched the film Whiplash, where after the band performed, and the lead character is the drummer, and he has his own drum solo. Granted, it's on his own and it's far longer, but it's a similar premise where the drums go for more unique notes, because average drumming or mainly always goes for like the same rhythm with like the verses and chorus, and it does here, but to hear the other variation and the way it ends the song, it's just very climactic. It's one of my favorite song endings. Yeah, the way it just it just almost gets louder and then it just suddenly stops, and that guitar sliding as well, which but is also like throughout the song as well. What else can I say? I don't know where Unoriginal comes from. I think what I did find disappointing is that there were a couple of other songs that came after this one. I forgot what the other songs were called from this album, which were also released as singles. They got popular more quickly, and whilst I remember them being cool, I just remember thinking, this has a lot of unique elements, from the piano to the gentle vocals to the way it ends the track in such a cinematic way. Yeah, I'm surprised this hasn't this wasn't the favorite of the album. Because another track I did like from the album is called Reason to Believe, where the lead vocalist uses more normal vocals with the verses, and then gets onto the screeching vocals in the chorus, and that too is like a mostly gentle track with the guitar leading it, and the drums don't really come about until the chorus, and has these strong power chords in the pre-chorus. I think that's a song to expand more upon, but just worth mentioning here because it's in the same album. And it plays on some similar bits and bobs, such as The World Is Yours. Especially with the choice to go for more gentle vocals, only to go louder very quickly. And but with the songs I like, it's a genre that does very well, and I think it's also quite underrated. And and I think this song should be one of the better representations of this genre. I think if more people listen to this, I think they'll be able to give this genre a bit more of a chance, because I'm not sure if I've said this elsewhere, but I'll say it briefly. just in case I repeat it, but what I said at the beginning. Oh well. But yeah, it's just the whole rock genre. It's incredibly, like, the success and the views. It's incredibly small compared to what pop music manages to reach, because you had these music videos reaching billions of views, and yet you have songs that carry on using guitars, drums, still writing and arranging notes, and they don't get as much credit, which I think is a real shame, because a lot of people like to downgrade death metal and that by saying, oh, it's just noise, just screeching, but no, there's far more to it, especially with songs like this, and just the genre as a whole. But anyway, yeah, let's go on to the next track. So if you were like me back then, where enjoyed Linkin Park, and you would think, oh, really like Chester's vocals, I really want more of it, and thanks to research, as well as Chester Bennington being in the band Grey Days, which he was first part of before Linkin Park, and then he briefly went back to them recently, and I think the songs were also released like a year or two after One More Light, which is quite nice to go back to another band. And yeah, I remember liking a lot of songs from Grey Days. It's one of the tracks called B12, which is one of the more recent ones. Oh, Soul Song, I like that one too. Yeah, a really well done one. But anyway, so this was a single project that has Chester Bennington, and I've heard that had one or two people that came from another band called Julian Kay, who they're more. It's like Julian Kay is vaguely rock, but it uses more electronic elements, and yeah, if you type in the song "Waking Up," which I think that's just another song for me to discuss another time, because yeah, I think that song is fantastic. Yeah, very cool in its electronic sounds, the way it builds up the bass and the varied instrumentals and the robotic vocals as well in between. Yeah, it's a very cool track. But yeah, like there are quite a few electronic elements throughout this album. It's definitely a like a heavy rock album. It kind of reminds me of Hybrid Theory and Meteora, but if you if you mix it with the electronic elements, but it also has that gentle nature that Minutes to Midnight has with a couple of the songs, and even Living Things, which is another Linkin Park's album, with that too has additional electronic elements, but I feel like a lot of the electronic elements come from like synthesizers and that, but in this case it does feel actually no, I think it's just the same, but just just going for different notes, and I think this album uses more guitar work than Living Things, as far as I can remember. So yeah, I think this album is about 11 or 10 tracks. Yeah, just after hearing this, I remember wanting to hear more of this, and granted, Chester would have been, if this album was 2009, so yeah, Linkin Park still made a good few albums afterwards, and yeah, Chester would have gone for Linkin Park primarily. I'm not sure why he did this one off with a different set of people. Maybe he was friends. Did they want to experiment with something? I would need to look into it. I would be very interested. But yeah, this is one of my favorite albums as well. Just a really nice, cool, distinct electronic rock style. It's almost as if you've gone into a dimension that's gloomy and artificial at the same time. That's the vibe I get for a lot of the songs. Although, yeah, not all of them are gloomy lyrics wise, because there are like some songs like Fire and To Give You a Name, which are a bit more hopeful and just a bit more positive. But then you have Let Down and Too Late, which just trying to make comparisons. They're just I guess just like your average rock song, where the vocals, no, if anything, My Suffering has Chester's, well, probably some of his only screeching parts throughout this album, which he uses as the backing vocals during the chorus. Not to mention the guitar work is a bit more in and out, and the drumming's far more quick as well. Like, oh wow, yeah, there's that repetitive, quick drumming part that happens in the chorus of My Suffering. Yeah, it's it just is a song that really keeps you going. I've even heard of a different version of this song. It will just be the same song, but with brackets demo. It's like different lyrics, and it sounds like the song at its beginning phases because there's not as much of the instrumentals in there, but the final result is still absolutely fantastic. Another well done heavy metal track. That one feels more like one that's done with just guitars and drums compared to the others, which have electronic parts and even synthesizers every now and again. But yeah, to go through the others, Give Me a Name is the one I'm the least familiar of, but it's the most gentle song, and also the most romantic song, as you can tell. But yeah, there's some really nice moments, such as the way it starts. It has this like really loud thud, only to go nice and gentle, and then there's that similar bass drop later on. Well, not your typical bass drop, but it just like the energy just rises as the chorus comes about, and just the vocals is a bit more tender, which is really nice. And in the final chorus, there's a bit more backing vocals from him, to make it a bit stronger. And I think that's all I can say with that one. Yeah, it's just really nice for him to do a song like this. So, Too Late, probably my favourite start of a song on this album, perhaps. It has this synthesizer which has these long singular notes, and then you also have the guitar, which I think they sound like the notes that are slightly muted. So when you play a guitar, the hand that's playing it would rest a part of the hand on the strings to make the notes a bit more abrupt. But there's different levels on it depending on how much you place the back of your hand on those strings. And it's enough to hear the notes, but not too much. It's just the right amount of drugging. Just some really interesting notes to start off the song. Really quick guitar notes as well, and then the drums start kicking in, and the bass is also quite powerful when the verse comes about. It's definitely like one of those songs where it's almost like nice to listen to when you're feeling sad, because there have been times in my life where like there's bad events that's happened and there's nothing really much you can do about it. It gives me that kind of vibe, and it kind of helped me. This song, well, just any other of these rock songs really, especially when I was coming across them. I'm not sure if that's right or not. But it's just songs like that were just really helpful. And then it has these superb loud full chords, that constant like thrash every now and again during the chorus, and it creates that really powerful song. You can really feel the strength of the strings in this one, and really cool solo as well. A solo that manages to they're different notes, but they still play on the same key and the same foundation, which the song establishes. And and the way it ends as well, as it ends, the drums get more powerful and thuddy, and then the song ends with a couple more chugging, and one of the guitars just making a guitar thrush, just like a last one, and making the notes last as long as possible. I like it when songs do that. Let Down was, I guess, one of the chosen singles because this one actually has a music video, and I kind of I sometimes think Too Late and Let Down are similar, but in good ways, of course. They're just they're like the normal guitar tracks in the song, and they also achieve in being more somber songs while also you know just being able to, I guess, give you some strength at the same time because of considering how strong these songs are. And but yeah, with Let Down, this one has like soft synth parts as it begins, a couple more electronic parts when they come about, but then the guitar and drums play more of their role during the chorus. And yeah, I think the song just it's more distinct with having these. Give You by a Name is gentle overall, but with Let Down it has the the strong, like the normal speed of a pop song, you could say. And yeah, definitely the one with the more electronic elements, especially around the verse, and then it gets louder in the um, chorus as well. And yeah, I think even its bridge continues that loudness, especially with the guitar thrushes, which are also slower compared to Too Late as well. I think Let Down is like the sorry, that's the dishwasher. It just spooked me because it opens. Anyway, sorry. Um, yeah, it's like the slower track, but as it's slow, it has a lot of like thumps every now and again that like really hit you hard, especially with the notes. They're quite heavy notes as well because whilst Too Late has like more distinct notes, you could say, which have like a I don't I think I think the better way to say it is that Let Down has like guitar strums which are a bit more bassy, and they sound like they're done on open strings more so than a chord. It would still run on power chords, but just ones that are less notey compared to Too Late. Yes, still not a great track. Fire, I almost want to say, is my favourite one. This one I find the most emotional. Definitely a song about losing a loved one, and it has lyrics about how they would remember many aspects about them, such as like holding the hand, or um, it's that kind of theme that the song has. And yeah, oh wow, the during the chorus there's these like slightly slow high guitar notes that like ring like one by one during the chorus, and there's that plus the heavy drumming, and the similar guitar fashion to Let Down. And just creates that atmosphere of emotion with especially with Chester's vocals, like really selling it. Because I really like I think it has my favourite backing vocals of this album as well, because it has these it's just I think the backing vocals are just one of my more favourite parts of the choruses. And because it repeats the end of one of the lines of the chorus. And even this song starts off steady, it's like really quiet, and then there's guitar electronic parts that slowly build up, and then the drums and the guitar become a bit more clear to hear. And then also in the bridge it has these bass guitar parts which a bit more gentle, as just as vocals are a bit more gentler, and then they gradually get louder as it starts to reach the bridge, and yeah, in a single scream as well to really cap it off, and then playing the chorus once more. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of what I've done, partially. Well, when going from the bridge and then going back onto the chorus, it's nice and gentle, and then it just suddenly goes loud with the energy built up. It's because a lot of songs that use electronic elements sometimes just they often sound mostly abstract, especially when I don't know who to compare it to. I guess you could say Skrillex could be a good example, because that DJ likes to use electronic sounds in a abstract way to create a certain atmosphere, especially Want to Dance 2. But with this album, it goes on a similar approach, but mixes in with synthesizer guitars and drums, and adds a bit more weight and emotion to the, alongside lyrics as well, because Skrillex does not have lyrics as far as I know, alongside a couple of collaborations I've heard of. But yeah, it's just Chester really shines in these, and I forgot to explain what Chester's vocals were. I think the verses, Chester's vocals are a bit more gentle, and then then they're just they're just slightly stronger during the chorus. So yeah, the lyrics are a bit more easy listening for a wider audience, because whilst I like screeching, I like quick singing, you could call it, when the speed of the singing is quicker, not rapping, but just just quicker than usual. Yeah, there's definitely a variety, just like any other Linkin Park track. But yeah, like I said, the lyrics kind of take their time a bit more. So yeah, I think that's all I can say about these tracks. As far as I can remember with the other album tracks, they were they were rather enjoyable, but I just remember these ones sticking out to me the most. And yeah, part of me kind of wishes more of this almost, but in Linkin, Chester Bennington, he did more with Grey Days, Linkin Park, and we definitely want those songs to go away, because they're definitely fine pieces. So yeah, just not only great songs, but just good album, another highlight for Chester. And I really like the electronic elements and the kind of themes these songs go for. So yeah, let's move on.
So similar to the Deep Purple song, this was a song that I haven't listened to much of compared to the other ones, but also like the Deep Purple track, I definitely would like to, because there's a lot to admire in this song. Because one key thing is that during the chorus, sometimes when you listen to a song that has like loud instrumental, is sometimes at a point where it nearly diminishes the vocals, and I don't remember that bothering me at all. I never really had a problem with a case where a song executes how the instrumentals overlap the lyrics. I don't think I've ever encountered a problem like that before. Which means it's definitely not a bad thing either, because sometimes it's just nice where the vocals just nicely assist the instrumental, even if the instrumental seems to like overlap the vocals in some way, because they go this like both the lead and the backing vocalist they like go for softer vocals at first, and then they just gradually get more powerful and louder to add like more of a build up, which just very it's just a nice touch. And then the start of the song starts off with an acoustic guitar, I think. Once again you can hear the strings going, which is nice, and the guy does use just nice crystal clear vocals, because I think what I can remember is he does have like stronger vocal parts. Yeah, it's a bit like in between the chorus, which yeah, definitely has a nice voice. Because the only other song I remember done by them is a song called Mysteria, which it's yeah, it's like jovial, but in a very snappy, rocky way. And yeah, it's definitely different compared to this one. This one's like a bit more of like a tad more emotional, but Mysteria, has like more of a snappy guitar, and then like the guitar has a break, and then it just suddenly comes in seconds later once the guy shows off his vocals. And yeah, there's like a flirtatious nature to that song as well. And yeah, the band that's yeah, if I can remember, I think I did listen to the discography, and yeah, they have a wide range of variety of songs. Like absolutely, yeah, the difference between this song and Mysteria, yeah, there's yeah, a lot of differences there. And this one also has a keys change later on, and it also has a solo as well, which yeah, both of them are rather nice. So yeah, it's definitely reminiscent of other rock songs I like, especially like Mitchell, the band's. Although I was about to compare him to Lynyrd Skynyrd, because there's another song I like by them called "They're Ready to Fly," which kind of yeah, it's similar with the guitar and vocals, and then the choruses are more powerful with them putting on more powerful vocals. It reminds me of that song, but obviously Lynyrd Skynyrd have definitely been around way more than this band. I feel like this band's a tad newer, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it just has. I think yeah, I think it just there's like some similarities because of how American and almost patriotic they are with how they approach their music. Yeah, not just the vocals, but just the snazzy way they use their guitars. Yeah, because it's like a light heavy as well. Especially when yeah, I call songs light heavy, where even if the drums and guitar is quite powerful, even at a point where there's quite a lot of layering and there's a lot of amp to the guitar, at least um, the vocals you can hear, a lot clearer, because as we all know, death metal and heavier songs, there's screeching or rapping or intentional unclarity with the lyrics to emphasize more of a viewpoint or a theme. But yeah, about this band's, yeah, like I said, just goes for a lighter approach, a bit like Lynyrd Skynyrd or who else? If anything, there's another band I like called oh gosh, what are they called? Oh no, I forgot them. um, yeah, I was about to say, well, maybe 3 Days Grace of Papa Roach could be worth mentioning too, because they too have although both of them do screech occasionally. Yeah, they're I would say they're a bit more heavier compared to them, but anyway, enough with the comparisons. Like I said, it's just yeah, a very cool band. I like the song. It's a nice emotional one. Evidently, you can probably guess with the title. And yeah, if you like, yeah, just with the natural guitar as well. Yeah, just it helps add more flavour and makes the song a bit more distinct too. And yeah, like I said, I recommend Mysteria as well. This one, that Mysteria is definitely a lot more catchy, and yeah, it's definitely a song that stands out. Yeah, definitely represents them well. Um, so yeah, I think it's the last track next. So yeah, let's go on to that one.
So when I hinted earlier about the heavy metal side of the 80s, having a go with their own charity song, well, there you go. So in 1984, all of the famous British pop stars had go with their charity song of "Do They Know This Christmas." Then there's the Americans that did "We Are the World" in the following year, but also 1985. I don't know how British or American these artists are, but regardless, the heavy metal side of things were like, hey, let's give ourselves a shot. Yeah, and sadly, it wasn't a shot heard by many people. the views on YouTube is lower, like far lower than it should be. And yeah, this is just a very interesting gem of itself. Outside of a couple of rock collaborations which I've heard, such as Nothing More having Jacoby Shinnocks from Papa Roach, having a small collaboration, but this Stars by Hearing Aid is multiple months at the time. Doing that all with their own charity song, and I think it contributed in similar ways to not only Band-Aid and We Are the World, and even that 1985 concert, which Bohemian Rhapsody, the film, took part in, or took place in, rather. I think it still contributed to that. If not, it might have. It might have done its own charity. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, once again, I don't know why the popularity of this was so unheard. Like for loads of people would have been fans of these bands, and just to hear them all have just like all of them come together. Like, why was this not a much bigger deal? Like, oh my god, because it is, this is a one-off opportunity. There's people that aren't even around anymore that are in this band. Like are there even, did the lead singer of Dio die? Like, for the fans of that band, do they even know that they took part in this? It's not just the vocalist, the people that play instruments. There's a huge segment in this song where there's one guitarist after the next having to go with their own solo, and each solo stands out and is so memorable. And then you have the first two verses, which are all sung by different artists. And when you listen to Band-Aid and We Are the World, they have a lot of words to sing. I think it gets to a point where, because if we go for Band-Aid, that one I'm more familiar with, there's a lot of artists who have chosen to be in the forefront, or they sing a good couple of lines and then the rest join in. But with this one, and whilst there could have been people who only sing during the collaborative parts, there's each singer has literally a line of their own, and they do very well. It goes from the lead of Dio to, I think, the lead of Twisted Singer. Definitely the dude from Judas Priest. He has a couple of his own lines, and he even stands out during the collaborative part. And when I say collaborative, in the chorus, everyone just sings their heart out, and just these nice strong rock vocals, just like the one that has a lot of power with a hint of screechiness. It sounds really good. And and the song also starts off really nice. It has the lead singer of Dio doing the first verse with a small trilling guitar, and I presume a synthesizer as well that comes in, and then that's where the guitars come in. There's a really good common guitar riff that carries on playing during the chorus, and even all of the solo parts. Just something I realised, with two verses and two chorus, that's probably like one of the biggest bridges I've ever heard. Not just an instrumental bridge or an instrumental section. This is long. Because I remember even when you listen to Stairway to Heaven, there's tons of verses, and then the solo part is nowhere as long as in this song. And by the way, I love Stairway to Heaven. It's my favourite Led Zeppelin song, really good. But the song then ends with one more chorus, and it's just like one of those cases where it just reminds me of, there's videos on the internet where there's like, oh, did you know that these photos were taken? And then it's like this one iconic photo of everyone sitting on a massive piece of metal during the creation of the Empire State Building. It's like one of those occasions where everyone should at least have one chance admiring it. And I think this song's the case here. I think on YouTube, if I can remember, it has about more than 1 million but less than 5, which I still think is a real shame, because a lot of 80s rock songs are played a lot to this day, and I think this one should be played. And if some people like longer rock songs like Stairway to Heaven, then they should enjoy this. If they like songs that go from that progresses very well despite the length of it. Yeah, this song's about 7 minutes, and I think when you buy, I think it's the album. There might be 1 or 2 extra songs, or the like different versions of this song, or it's like extended in this single. I don't quite remember. I just remember finding something on YouTube, and it was in chapters, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't quite remember, but most of all, this track is fab. I've found this 11 years ago. If anything, I tell you where I found it from. There's there's one. And I know there's tons of top 100 songs of the 80s, but there's this one that's just simply made of a black background with white writing coming in and out. It goes from one song to the next, and I don't. It's quite a limited list because it does go back to a lot of the same artists, like Guns N' Roses, but it does has this song as well, to which good for him. I think thanks to you, I think more people are more familiar of songs thanks to you. If I hope that YouTube video is still around, because it still introduces other bangers like Alice Cooper's Poison, which is another favourite rock song of mine. I think he could have taken part in this. He might have, but he definitely doesn't have any lead vocals in this one. Who else is? I was trying to think what other bands are in there. There's what they're called, the Blue Oyster Cult, I think they're called. Blue Oyster Cult. Yeah, I think that's the order of it. Yeah, that's one of the bands. I don't quite remember any other, but I remember going from one by one, listening to more of the material, and they're rather good. This is I couldn't think of a better way to end this video. Yeah, just as you know, good collection of rock songs that are also been hidden under the radar, especially this one. And yeah, I do recommend the lot. I probably would recommend this the most because there's no other opportunity where you can listen to these specific bands come together like this. It's just fantastic. Yeah, it's great. I think we'll end it right there. So yeah, once again, I think what I will say is that if you've never really been into rock or metal, then I still would recommend it, because I too was mainly been a pop fan, up until no, not up until, but I was just listening to mostly pop music up until 2016, where I was just finding bands like Linkin Park, 3 Days Grace, Bob Roach, Avenged Sevenfold, Evanescence, and so many more. Like, granted, all of those are modern, but I still went on to other bands like what Hearing Aid have here. And I think you should give this genre like a small go, because their rock charts are like tiny in sales compared to what pop music is doing right now, and I think it's just a bit unfair, because if rap music is in small genre of its own and gains just as much popularity, I think rock music should do that as well, especially because the download community and just the overall rock community, it's fab. I've been to download for one night only when Def Leppard were headlining it in 2019. I've also seen Whitesnake and Zebrahead were here. Icon for Hire was there. Real Big Fish was there. It's just a great amount of music to get into and to be a part of. We'll end the video right there. Hope you enjoy it. I hope I convinced you into rock music, and also this song in particular. Have a good day. Bye.